How's it going, Miss Bender?
What's up there, Ryman? How's it going? You need to change your name, Ryman. Follow the directions.
Well, that's what I was just reading. Give me a moment.
What directions were there, Melissa?
Just to put your, like I put CES for Coos Elementary, and then you're going to put your first and last name, and they're going to break us into south and north of the Broad.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Ugh. End of the day, I look horrible. I am going to go to the beach or something.
Okay. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Adrian?
Good. You're still at school. You should be doing this from home.
Well, I just live down the road, so I ran home real quick and I got dinner and I came back.
Oh, okay. Where you might see some dinner being made in our background.
This setting prevents my daughter from jumping in and hijacking my meeting.
You might see our dog.
Mine too. I have a question. We're supposed to rename.
Yeah,
Just
it's kind of like what we did, Kim.
the things. So just
Yeah.
go on that three things.
Three
and
dots. Yep.
Yeah. Now, can I just put my school behind my name? Oh, I guess it has to go in the front. All right. Thanks, guys.
I'm going to excuse myself for a minute. I'll be back.
Sure you will, Adrian.
How could I resist this tempting opportunity?
I know you'll.
Yes. Otherwise, you look like you don't have any of that stuff.
You know, aren't even working right now. But go right ahead.
Okay.
Are you ready? Good evening. Welcome to the Beaufort County Board of Education Joint Board SIC virtual meeting on December 3rd, 2020. The meeting will be live streamed on the Beaufort County School Board YouTube channel. I'm Kathy Robine, I'm the vice chair, and I will be presiding over the meeting. Since Dr. Blas is en route, represent our school board at a legislative meeting. I would just like to go over a few housekeeping things before we move on with the agenda. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for participating. We value all SIC folks and the work that you do to benefit our students. So this evening, we will be divided for the first 45 minutes into two groups. One which is represents the schools north of the Broad, and the other which represents the schools south of the Broad. It's important, since we have about 60 participants, it's crucial to keep muted until it's your turn to speak. Each of the breakouts, the north of the Broad and south of the Broad, will be facilitated. One will be facilitated by Ms. Robin Cushenberry, and the other will be facilitated by Kristen Casper. After 45 minutes, we'll regather all together so that we can have breakouts from each group, from reporting about what we talked about. For the public, I'd like to just state the 3 questions that the groups will be discussing. Actually, let's stop here and let's move to approval of the agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, Earl Campbell moved and Tricia Fidrick seconded. Are there any comments? Okay. Seeing none. Then please, let's vote. Board members, we need to vote on the approval of the agenda. If you approve the agenda, all approving say aye.
Aye.
And voting remotely, we have Mr. Will Smith, Mr. David Stribinger.
Is David and I?
Mr. Smith,
He checked yes.
you checked yes, okay.
What
So-
about Mr. Strip? Okay, I see his
Okay,
thumbs up.
thumbs up. So there are,
Hold on a second.
okay,
And Rachel's not on.
7.
that should be 7.
Yes. Got it.
Okay, the motion passes 7-0. Those not attending or not voting at this time are Dr. Tina Guaz, Mr. John Dowling, Ms. Joanne Orshak, and Dr. Rachel Wisniewski. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay, the media has been properly notified. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for your participation this evening. And I would like to, just for the public who might be listening on the YouTube channel, what the groups will be discussing. There are 3 questions. What challenges have you experienced carrying out the work of your SIC during COVID? Given the challenges that COVID presents, how can schools re-engage parents? And how can your SIC provide support for the social emotional needs for students and faculty at your school? Once again, these questions will be discussed in the small groups, one group representing schools north of the Broad and the other group representing the schools south of the Broad for 45 minutes. Then we will reconvene and we will report out. So at this time, I say that we move to our group meetings.
North of the Broad, we're going to go down in conference room E.
Take our computers.
Yes.
I put you in south of the road,
Put me south.
so I can go down there.
Okay.
Is this still unmuted?
This is-
There are some people in the meeting who haven't put their school initial before their name, so I don't know quite where to put you. And in a couple minutes, I'll just shuffle you into either room. So I don't know where to put you.
The members of the Board of Education that are in this room that represent schools north of the Broad are moving to a different area so we don't compete with each other in our conversations.
So Molly, do I stop sharing in here or do I?
What was that?
So do I share my screen and it'll be up in here? Should I continue to share my screen?
You can.
Okay.
I sent an email to Miss Cushenberry and Miss Casper. I do not know if they'll get that email, but hopefully somebody will check in a minute to see who's left outside of a breakout room.
Hi, can you hear me? This is the main room. I am working on shuffling you guys into the breakout rooms. Can you give me 1 second and I'll try to do that for you guys.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So everyone that is still in the main room, I have assigned you guys. Did nothing pop up on your screen telling you to move to a different room? So I have you all assigned to a room.
It still says I'm assigned to South of the Broad. Nothing
Okay.
popped up.
You were assigned to South of the Broad and you want to move to North.
North.
Of the Broad. Okay.
Yes, please.
I don't think I'm assigned to a room.
You're not assigned to a room. Let me see. Emily Baker who's that? I have you assigned to North of the Broad. Would you like to go to South of the Broad? Can't hear you. I'm sorry. Miss Gowd?
Yes.
Okay. I see you now. I'm sorry. I had to go through my list. I have over 60 people in this meeting. I'm sorry about that. I'm moving you now.
Thank you.
Did you see something pop up? Okay, never mind. She's gone. Joe Davis, are you there? I currently have you assigned to North of the Broad.
I'm with Broad River Elementary.
Yes. So you should be with North of the Broad?
Yes.
Okay. I have you assigned to North of the Broad. Did it not pop up on your screen yet?
No.
Okay.
Just me and Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to shuffle you guys. It's for some reason not taking. I'm going to, the only way I can move you is move you to south of the Broad. I'll move you to south and I'll try to move you back and see if it'll pop up on your screen one more time.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see something that says join meeting?
No.
Nope. Can you click open? Do you have the participants list at the bottom of your screen somewhere? It says participants.
I do.
Yes. Can you click that open and see if it allows you to join one of those breakout rooms?
I don't see any rooms.
You don't see any rooms? Okay. Do you have 3 dots at the bottom of the Zoom that says more? Should say ... more, maybe, for some more controls.
Well, I see a button that says breakout rooms.
Yes, click on that.
I haven't been assigned. It says you have been assigned to breakout room north of the Broad.
Yes. Can you click on that? See if it does anything. There you go. Can I help you?
So the translation piece and the pause between the two languages has been a challenge. It seems to be a little bit better
Turn
when
breakout
you're in
room.
person.
There you go.
The office from battery has been raised.
She's supposed to be south of the Broad.
Yeah,
Oh, Sarah on.
ironically, I feel like we've made more progress this year than we've had in the past. I think that it's a tribute to our parents and our members. We've gone from being more of just a information sharing format to a task-oriented and problem-solving mode. And I feel like we've really moved forward, and it's led to our PTSO also strengthening, and we're being able to take some action steps and that we haven't been able to do before. Sometimes the benefit to Zoom is it keeps us a little more focused than one task. So I've got some really blessed to have some great people about it. We're actually in the process of applying for that state award through FIT. So I'm really proud of our people that have been able to accomplish the last couple of months.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the award he's talking about is the Thompson Riley FFP Award for Excellence. And if you are thinking about doing that, they are due tomorrow. So you still have a little bit of time. We don't have any other thoughts for this first
Hello, Emily and Jen.
Hey, Amelia, it logged me out and now I'm
Oh.
back in. If I could go to South of the Broad, that would be great.
South of the Broad, gotcha. I'll put you in there now. Give me 1 second, please. Emily, you may have to do another step. Some other people couldn't join the breakout group right away. There should be a button or something that says breakout rooms, and it'll prompt you to join from there. You might need to do some extra steps to get there. And I guess you got there. Hi, Jen. Can you hear me? Hello, Jen. Are you there?
challenges, the first one, what challenges have you experienced carrying out during COVID? How, oh, somebody's computer.
You're still.
Start over?
Okay, start
Yes,
again.
Okay, I'm sorry. We were, apparently those of us in this room were not unmuted. So what I've thanked everyone for all the great work that you've done in your 45-minute sessions, a little bit more than 45 minutes discussing this. I know there were some great discussions or sharing the South of the Broad group, and I've heard from my colleagues as they came back in that the same North of the Broad. So now I've asked for a North of the Broad summary of the first question. What challenges have you experienced carrying out the work of your SIC during COVID?
Thank you, Ms. Rovine. I did end up taking some notes for our group. And I just want to reiterate what you said, that there was some fabulous sharing out by the members of the SIC. And for this particular question, the answers were pretty much centered around that the Zoom meetings with SIC during COVID have really been good. Finding that more members were actually showing up via Zooms instead of having to come to the school building, that the initial establishment of communication was difficult, but that was quickly overcome. There was one interesting from St. Helena Elementary School. Dr. Mack shared with us that they were trying to increase their SIC numbers, and they found that pre-COVID, they would have many more in-person grandparents. But when it went to Zoom, there were some technical challenges. And so they have been reaching out and providing assistance for that. Ms. Owens, we were fortunate enough to have her join our group in the beginning. And she shared with us that the translation has been difficult over Zoom, but they're overcoming that. Mr. Cox from Battery Creek suggested that he feels there's actually more progress this year than in years past, kind of more task-oriented by doing it via Zoom. The negative of doing it via Zoom is missing the camaraderie, you know, the feeling of togetherness. And but all in all, I'm going to say this, but this is true for every question. This was a very positive, proactive, we can meet these challenges and overcome them kind of group. And so it was really very inspirational.
Excellent. Well, I think South of the Broad identified, you know, the challenge was that you can't get folks together. And they were having a bit more of a challenge, I think, with getting people to attend Zoom meetings than perhaps North of the Broad was. And their focus was, you know, we don't feel like we're getting the feedback from parents that we used to get. So what do we need to do? You know, we talked about that was a common thing. We also have some South of the Broad, some SIC teams in transition. I think where people have moved on and when it's much harder to transition, I think, when you're doing it remotely than in person. So, you know, I think that they were all, a couple of them said that the goals that they had made last year for them to move forward this year had weren't appropriate anymore. That some of the things that they had planned on doing or wanted to do had to rethink because we all know we look very different than what we thought. Robin, is there anything else that
Problems seem to be moving faster than the solutions.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out where the SICs fit in and not trying to create work for other people.
I think there was a big recognition by our SIC folks that the teachers have a tremendous burden on them this year, much more than regular. And they were very cognizant of the fact that they didn't want to create more work for the teachers.
The other was bringing in new people during the COVID and not being able to get how to communicate and to get new people to join and come in.
So is there anyone from either the north of the Broad or south of the Broad that would like to add to these reports that you've just heard? If so, raise your electronic hand and we'll try and watch for it. Maybe my people can help me.
Trying to see if I can.
I don't see any hands. Okay, all right, thank you. So we will go on to the second question. And the second question was, given the challenges that COVID presents, how can schools re-engage parents? And I'll start with this one from the south of the Broad. And the ways to re-engage parents that were discussed in our group were that the teachers really have a big burden in this, that they have to and are making themselves accessible to parents, that many spoke out that they are making those phone calls, making those personal connections, and those are more important now than ever, is what the feeling was. Also, trying to honor traditions that each school has, like an example was the lanterns that the middle school had, and instead of the lantern parade, the car parade came to see the lanterns. But taking those traditions, somebody else talked about Thanksgiving traditions where the kids made videos and keeping those traditions alive, trunk or treat, traditions that brought and engage families, bring them in socially, that was so important. One of the schools talked about parent town halls versus via Zoom, and that those parent town halls were effective in engaging parents and getting parents to talk. I bet you didn't know that Hilton Head Elementary School, the teachers dressed up as witches and went paddleboarding and did something. And so these types of activities to engage the community, their little communities. I think the high schools said that they have it a little bit easier because they still have sports. So the sports, generate a little bit more engagement with parents, and they've also have ESOL nights. They've had some ESOL nights. Something else that was talked about was engaging others in the community. Now is an important time. How can the SIC has community members on it, but they can't come into the building now, they can't mentor. So how can the SIC keep them involved, keep them engaged, and reach beyond that? Reach out community members and to educate parents, really that was something else that was talked about, especially since we had some reconstitution of SICs, south of the Broad. So educating parents as to what is the function of the SIC. And I know that Hilton Head Elementary School Dr. Owen talked about bringing in a Zoom meeting with Tom Hudson to review expectations of SIC. So those were some of the things. Mr. Campbell, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered lots of it. And I don't know if any one of the educators or SIC members want to say anything at all, but you covered most of the gist of it. I think it's a time when we have to be very innovative, and it's going to be constant, and we're not going to be able to read the results of what we're doing immediately, you know. And I like the focus to remain on improving the schools for the children, and the child today might be totally different than what we expected that child to be 15 years ago.
South of the Broad, north of the Broad, would you?
Thank you, Ms. Robine. A lot of what you mentioned, we had the same themes as far as really trying to re-engage parents and families. So it was quite amazing, actually. So I'm going to actually read from the notes here. You know, that feeling of disconnect, how do we get the parents to come back through? So several of ours people reported out that they did the drive-through parent nights, okay? One particular school does drive-through where students are given a project to do. And then those projects are due the next time they do their drive-through. Okay, so they're trying to get parents to come out, and they're fun projects, art projects or science projects. How else are they re-engaging parents, families? Winter conferences, you know, via Zoom with parents. They've also had community services brought in via Zoom sessions. Okay, so Kappa, hospice, and so on. Another member reported out how important it was to keep the lines of communication open. So their cluster schools have also provided parent sessions on Power School. How do you do a breakout room? I mean, what happens when my child is Zooming with a teacher and there's a break, you know, how do I actually do that? How do I get into Power School and see the grades? How do I do Google Classroom? So they have provided tutorials on those, as well as parent sessions and Zoom nights. Family STEM nights. Again, some more drive-throughs. One school, actually several schools do surveys. Okay, they're surveying the parents to say, what do you need? You know, short little surveys. What do you need? Tell us how we can help. What are your concerns? Several of our members have their local churches have helped out tremendously, either through donations, and then they provide those to the faculty and the staff for either like a turkey drawing or a Christmas drawing and so on. So they're really definitely reaching out to the local churches. Teams, calling parents, like teams within the schools assigned parents, and just calling to check in, just calling and saying, how are you doing? Mr. Cox shared that he does Facebook Live, okay, every morning. And so parents can call in and or write in the chat room or instant message or however they do that. They partner with Havisham for some 35 Thanksgiving meals. Again, Broad River Elementary, reaching out, making phone calls, especially checking in on those students who are not logging in. Even if they're coming face to face, they might not be logging in for their virtual on the following day. So checking on those. St. Helena Elementary weekly survey with staff and with parents. Just tell us how you're doing. What do you need? What do you need? What can we do? Let's see, a lot of virtual parent nights. Ms. Sackman from Aussie Oaks mentioned that they make sure that all their information is in one central location. So parents go to one part of their website and they can get all to every place else without having to hunt and search. Mr. Shipsey from Ladies Island Middle School said that he's been involved, I think, how is it, Mr. Shipsey, 40 years with SICs, and that really the cluster meetings The Beaufort cluster gets together for their SIC meetings are fabulous. So parents can see all the way from elementary to middle to high. So they're doing theirs by cluster. And he's finding that, since he can compare it over the years, extremely helpful. He cautioned, that it's really important to go to the parents and not expect the parents to come to us. So at one point they had gone to St. Helena Library to do so. A parent shared with us that she just wanted to thank the educators and administrators at Whale Branch Early College High School. The communication with the emails and the text messages, there's never been a question that hasn't been answered, and she just wants everyone to know how very much she appreciates it. So as you can see, there's some incredibly creative ideas of how to re-engage parents and families. Colonel Geyer, Mr. Smith, Mr. Campbell, do you want to add anything? All right.
William does.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
I was going to say one thing that I did like that I believe it was Broad River Elementary School. One thing that she talked about was, I believe, using Google Docs and sharing the link with the guidance counselor, the BMS, and the social worker. That way, there's a great level of accountability, and everyone plays a part or a role. They intake and make sure that they know when each other are calling the homes, when they're not getting answers. I think that's a great help, because that's not only that a track record, but that's all that it shows. It shows action that they're doing everything within their power and their ability to make sure that they're reaching the parents and the students that our district serve, or that their schools are serving. So I just thought that was a very good element to learn about, because I'm not sure how many other people are doing that, but I think that's a great way to have everyone engaged. In that way, everyone is being held accountable. I just want to put that out there. I thought that was a good thing.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Smith. That was another very good point that was made.
Okay, moving on to the last question. How can your SIC provide support for the social emotional needs for students and faculty at your school? I'll start with the report, what I heard, that the statement was, families, teachers seem to be in crisis mode more now than we were before. And that it's important to develop a team of mentors so that we have people that can reach out to individuals and just ask that question, how are you doing? SICs, parents calling parents, just to engage and encourage them, encouragement being a big word here. Talk and let them know what resources are available. It was mentioned that there's an SIC state website that lists support systems for parents. So if you go to the state SIC website, there are ideas there that the SIC can access in terms of what supports can be offered. And I think several of the schools talked about what they can do to relieve some of the additional stresses that the teachers are feeling, because many of them are trying to do 3 things at once. They're teaching in person, they're teaching virtually. So ideas, folks talked about finding ways to provide additional planning periods for them, or planning time, pockets of time that for the teachers, so that they have some ability to kind of regroup and move forward. So I think we kind of ran out of time, but that was those were my notes. Robin, did you have anything else?
One was the streamline of communications, be it phone, call, or electronic, because too much information can sometimes be overwhelming in the various ways of communication coming through. So to coordinate and streamline the communications from the schools. And that was pretty much.
Okay. With this third question, how can SICs provide support for students and faculty? I would have to characterize this question and responses with it's centered around the emotional support that students and teachers need. Okay, so one of the members pointed out about the panorama survey that is now required, the social emotional survey. And so when the results surfaced and it was seeing a deficit in efficacy, then they were able to get all their support personnel around that and start working with children on feeling empowered. Okay, so you know, you get that data and you find out where you need it to go, and so that they're responding to that. Recognition of teachers and recognition of students. And how do you do that in this world? Very creative ideas. We heard a lot of we need to love on our staff, okay? And that is done in different ways, especially through recognition of them, needing to take care of them, social emotional training for students and for teachers. Schools have paired again with some community services. Robert Small has had a wellness day where their local churches contributed different things, and they just talked about taking care of yourself and provided information about that. Just trying to give kids in this world where we're so isolated a sense of community. And how do you go about doing that? So there were different ideas thrown out about spirit days. A lot of small group counseling to try to support the students and their emotional needs. Dr. Mack shared with us that they partner with a church who provides those things to them that really you're not supposed to spend money on out of the school budget. So the local church provides just goodies, and for the staff, not for students, but for the staff. You know how important coffee is, she referenced, for staff members. So they provide coffee. Some discussion about what is being done around Thanksgiving and what is being done around Christmas. Mr. Shipsy again also brought up the idea that he really asked the board members to take a strong look at retention. He said that if we wait too late, we're going to lose teachers. And he would like to see what this board is going to do to try to help keep teachers. What else, team? What else did we hear? Mr. Burns from Broad River said that he would really like to see board members attend some Zoom faculty meetings or actually be there in person and just give teachers and faculty encouragement and thank yous. And so I know that we said we are at the ready to do that. Sometimes we just don't know when there are those meetings. Yeah. Right, you know, the cluster meetings or the faculty meetings and so on. So. Colonel Geyer?
One thing that was very evident is that north of the Broad, and from what I've heard from south of the Broad, people are innovating.
Yeah.
People are looking forward. People are positive. There's not, we didn't get any hand wringing and oh, woe is us, and this is just not possible. It's all difficult, but people have the right attitude, and I hope that we keep our eye on the prize. And the prize is, they say, by the spring, the vaccine will be out, and hopefully next fall we'll be back to normal, but we'll be stronger because of what we've learned in this difficult time. We'll have stronger teams, we'll have stronger relationships, and we have to keep focus on the future as well as dealing with the present and learning from the past. And all I heard tonight was we're on track. And I'm just really proud of what I've heard tonight.
I did want to also just share something you said, Colonel Geyer, is several of us attended a webinar today. It was a legislative webinar. And someone made a comment on there that I just thought was fabulous. And it just said, think positive, test negative. So this is where we're going. I echo what you're saying, that our group provided a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation. Knowing how hard all of that is, though. It takes time, it takes effort, and that is hard. But it's getting done. And so again, just applaud all the efforts.
You don't see the results right away.
No.
Just stay with it.
Stay with it.
And yeah. Eventually reflect back and look at how much we learn. And children hopefully will do the same thing, how much they learn during this time. And they would have grown a lot stronger than we could possibly expect.
Building that resiliency. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Rodriguez had his hand up.
Yep. Dr. Rodriguez.
I just wanted to take a moment and just thank certainly all the parents and any teachers and administrators that are on this tonight. But just a moment to just especially thank the parents for your resilience and we know it's not easy. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every one of you, and I appreciate all that you are doing to not only support your own children, but to support the schools in our community. And so just thank you very much for that and your continued efforts on that.
William Smith.
Mr. Smith?
And I was going to do little half of what Dr. Rodriguez said, along with, I was going to thank the parents, but also before I did that, I want to say that Mr. Burns did bring up a great point. And, it's, I do believe that all board members, that we do support teachers and students because, teachers and parents and students as well, is because we believe in what everyone is doing, because we can only fathom things that we can't see, that we know that it's hard, that you are fighting through with your personal home and with the experience of getting to school and making sure that the kids that you are responsible for, that you are educating. So, that is tough. And and also like Ms. Mack said, she even reminded me now, if I go in the store, I might even pick up a extra pack of Coke to drop off by the school, so to help out the teachers in the social emotional piece, because the same way students are going through social emotional is the same way I'm sure that students are engaging in that too. And to support our teachers, to support the students is a big thing, because I can only fathom how much money teachers are spending right now for the kids that they have coming in class, to keep them engaged and to keep them seated. My mom was a teacher, so I know teachers spend a lot of money out of their own personal pockets that they will never get back. So it definitely won't hurt me to drop off a Coke or drop off some coffee. So I will be looking forward to possibly doing that. So thanks for that. And I want to thank all the parents who are on this call, who could be any place in the world, but you are here as well. So I appreciate everyone as a board member. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Would any other board member like to say anything before we move on to the next topic, or anyone out there? We have two things left on. We have one thing left on the agenda, and that is the future topics and the format. So if you have a future topic that you think would be a good topic for a future SIC meeting, we have another one in the spring. You can raise your hand and give it now, or if it comes to you later, you could email it to Robin Cushenberry.
Or to Kristen Casper.
Or to Kristen Casper. Is there anybody who has something right at this moment? I can't see everybody's hands. Does anybody else? Okay, all right. Also the format. I think this is, since I've been on the board 2 years, we've done this format where we break up into groups and we come back. So any feedback that you have on this format, we'd also like to receive. see, somebody wrote something in chat.
Says put it in chat.
Okay. So if you have any suggestions for future topics or regarding the format, you could also put that in chat at this time. Does anybody see any hands?
In chat.
In chat.
You see.
Oh, sure.
Oh. Let me put it back up.
The topic of teacher retention, okay? That would be a future topic, yeah. I know that's one of the board's issues as well.
David Strivinger.
Mr. Strivinger? Is he raising his hand?
Yes.
Mr. Strivinger?
Hold on, we can't hear.
Oh, we can't hear. Are you muted?
Just, yeah, it's too low.
It's too low. He's not muted. Mr. Strivinger, we're having a hard time hearing you.
That's very unusual.
It's something, you know, he's not muted.
Hmm.
We just volume up on this.
Those of us in
That was
Tell him to come closer to his mic.
David, can you come closer to your mic?
If I get any closer, I'll have to marry it.
Okay, but we can hear you
Well, we
now.
can hear you now. Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
On teacher retention, that's a hot topic for me. That's our second goal, actually, as a board. I'm not sure that we can wait until the next SIC meeting, which would be in March. So my suggestion is that we're going to slip that into an operations committee agenda, because the operations committee meets monthly, and that would come under HR, which is part of the operations purview. And maybe we can have some expertise, meaning actual teachers, come enlighten us a bit. And I'm thinking of Mr. Shipsey right away, but perhaps others. And we could just bring them into that operations committee meeting, and we could find out what it looks like actually on the ground, as opposed to what we're reading in books. So that's going to be my plan moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you. And I see in chat was a suggestion for formatting for our next meeting was to possibly break up by grade levels for the second meeting of the year. So that's something for us to consider as well.
There's a young lady with a hand up.
And there's
Also-
some hand up.
There's Mrs. Liz from River Ridge Academy, I believe.
Yes.
That's where I think I was the one who had said grade levels, and I don't necessarily mean grade levels, but school levels, just for a different view. So as opposed to hearing the different sides of the county, maybe hear, okay, the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high schools, because obviously their input is sometimes dependent on the grade level. So that would kind of bridge that gap between the bridges as well.
Good idea. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I do not see anyone at this time. So we have finished almost on time. It's 7:35. I would need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Mr. Guyer moves that we adjourn. I need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Earl Campbell. All board members, please vote. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Strivinger?
He's a
He's a-
Is aye? Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been very enlightening. Meeting adjourned.